Newton's 337-year-old third law of motion neglects the shape of bodies, so it has not been completely studied yet. To accommodate the shape of the body and other significant factors, the law has been generalized. In 2018, at a conference organized by the American Association of Physics Teachers in Washington, Sharma presented his paper on the modification of Newton's third law of motion. Then one of the American scientists said, quote, Ajay, if you could experimentally confirm the proposed inadequacy of Newton's third law, then it would be a Nobel Prize for India. Unquote. Original law, reaction equal to minus action. Generalized law, reaction equal to minus action. K shape multiply by K composition multiply by K target multiply by K other. The details of the discussion are available on www.newton99.com in research papers, articles, in interviews. The book Newton's Law of Motion in 21st Century is at final stage. What is the definition of Newton's third law of motion?
Newton's third law of motion states, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Reaction is equal to minus action. The law would be regarded as completely true when two conditions are satisfied. Firstly, the reaction is precisely equal to action in magnitude, and secondly, the reaction is exactly opposite in direction. The definition and equation of the law are independent of any other factor. Hence, the law is universal, that is applicable in all cases. Action and reaction are expressed in terms of force.
What is your point of view about 336-year-old Newton's third law at first sight?
Newton's third law has not been completely studied yet. In some respects, in past 338 years, the law neglects the shape of interacting bodies apart from some other significant factors like composition. Why such factors are not experimentally studied yet? We have reached the moon, Mars, and reaching near the sun. Why these simple experiments have not been conducted? Thus, in my opinion, the reaction may be equal, less, or more than action depending upon experimental variables.
What is the basis of your different claim for such a fundamental law of science?
In experiments, the shape of body is a significant factor and effective at qualitative level. Hence, must be studied in specific experiments. The bodies may have different shapes, for example, spherical, umbrella shaped, triangle, cone, long thin pipe, flat, any arbitrary shape, etc. Hence, we are specifically considering the freely falling and rebounding bodies. The mass, composition, and other factors of bodies are kept the same, only shape is different.
Can you illustrate the effect of the shape of the body with simple physical examples, even on the qualitative or gross level?
Consider falling and rebounding basketball and rugby ball of the same mass 1 kilogram and precisely same composition from a height of 1 meter. Both balls have different shapes. The basketball is round and rugby ball is oval. Now both balls have same action mg, that is 9.8 Newton, and should have the same reaction, and direction of the reaction must be exactly opposite. Under certain conditions, the basketball may rebound to original height of 1 meter, exactly retracing the original path, and we say that Newton's third law is obeyed. Thus, for basketball, experimentally, action and reaction are precisely equal in magnitude and exactly opposite in direction. So, Newton's third law is quantitatively justified under these supposed conditions for basketball. On the other hand, a rugby ball rebounds to a lesser height than 1 meter and at different angles depending upon the point of contact of the ball. So Newton's third law is not justified in case of rugby ball. In the case of the rugby ball, neither magnitude of action is equal to reaction nor the direction is precisely opposite. So the law is not even qualitatively or grossly justified in such observations. This anomaly is due to shape of the rugby ball, as composition of both basketball and rugby ball is regarded as precisely the same. Thus, theoretical analysis based upon quantitative observations, it may be experimentally justified quantitatively in specific experiments.
Did Newton not study these simple looking experiments or observations?
No, Newton did not conduct these experiments. Also, the following scientists have not analyzed the effect of shape quantitatively in such cases in past 333 years. Thus, in case of falling and rebounding bodies, the law is regarded as true without experiments, which is completely unscientific.
A famous example of Newton's third law of motion is quoted in warfare. When the bullet is fired, it moves forward and the gun moves backward. Like this, Newton's third law is regarded as true.
Yes, the recoil of gun is a famous example of the third law. When the bullet is fired from the gun moves in backward direction. What here? The law is justified qualitatively or gross level only. I mean to say that recoil velocity of gun is not measured as predicted by the equation. B gun is equal to minus mass bullet multiplied by velocity bullet whole divided by mass of gun. The law would be quantitatively true if velocity is measured by controlling various factors and equation is justified. The arguments applies to motion of aeroplane, helicopter, etc. Practically, it is impossible to measure the mass and velocity of the exhaust, that is, gases, fire, smoke, and small particles, etc. So, in such cases, the third law may be regarded as only qualitatively or grossly true, not quantitatively.
How did you improve Newton's third law of motion? What is your modified form of the law?
The modified form of the third law of motion may be understood as every action has proportional reaction depending upon the shape, size, characteristics, etc. of interacting bodies. Reaction is proportional to action, or reaction is equal to minus k action. Further value of k may be inserted. Then reaction is equal to minus k into k shape multiplied by k composition multiplied by k target multiplied by k others. The modified form of the law takes all possible factors into account via k. The value of k, k shape, k composition, k target, k others may be measured in specific experiments by method of standardization, comparison, and calibration.
Second part of the discussion is based on interaction with CSIR, New Delhi, and the Prime Minister of India. What is the most encouraging incident in your 40 years of struggle regarding this and such other works? You have also published papers and books modifying Einstein's equal to mc square and the oldest established law, Archimedes' principle.
My first paper modifying Newton's third law of motion was published in 1998-99, that is 25 years ago. Let me quote an encouraging incident in my life that took place on 1st August 2018 at Washington conference organized by American Association of Physics Teachers USA. I went to USA at my own expense as did not get any help from government or other agencies. On 1st August 2018, I made my presentation that What is Newton's third law? On what aspects it is not studied in past 338 years? What are its limitations? Justified that qualitative or initial experiments? What is the experimental method to show the limitations of Newton's third law of motion? What would be the modified form of the law? Then one of American scientists said, Ajay, if you could prove the modification of Newton's third law of motion experimentally as explained by you, then it would bring Nobel Prize for India. Good luck.
Your book has also been appreciated by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi.
I contacted many scientists of global repute in 2018 and all mentioned in writing my objections to Newton's third law of motion are original and genuine. Then I sent my papers to Director General Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi. My project was evaluated with details, and in October 2019 a report SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, originality, threat analysis, approved the originality of the work. I was asked to submit the project through some university or research institute for financial help with procedural and instrumental details. At that time, I was Assistant Director Education Shimla, job involving improvement of schools in Himachal Pradesh, transfer of teachers and other administrative responsibilities. I had no laboratory facilities and my office was not related to research at all. I have taught physics at DAV College Chandigarh and as lecturer of physics in Shimla for years. I tried to send the project, but it was not accepted even by the government research funding portal, stating that I was on verge of retirement and without laboratory facilities at my place of work. But I believed in God and continued working.
You also wrote to Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and PMO took the right steps for re-evaluation of your work by sending papers to the Director General Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi.
Yes, thanks for PMO for the same. I retired in March 2021. I have no way out. People thought if I could not do anything in my job as government employee, what I would do as a retired person. The Himalayas were right on the door. Then I wrote to Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for experimental facilities for the approved project in January 2022. Then 5-member committee of expert scientists was constituted by Council of Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR New Delhi. The report of the committee was sent on 11 November 2022. I quote, your project has already been evaluated by a committee in 2019 in SWOT analysis. Sent the project as directed earlier and explained some more experimental details. However, experimental facilities were not provided. Also, I was not called for personal presentation. What they agreed with me, the theme of my project. Now I have retired from government job about 3 years ago. How can a retired person can submit a project? As idea is approved, it is responsibility of the government to get experiments done. I am ready 24/7 to work. Government spends billions of rupees yearly on education and research. These experiments may cost rupees 10 to 15 lakhs with existing facilities of ISRO, DRDO, HEL and engineering laboratories, etc. On 22 November 2022, I replied back to CSIR and New Delhi through the speed post, but waiting for reply even now. The Office of Prime Minister called me telephonically, maybe in December 2022 or January 2023, whether I was satisfied with the response from the CSIR New Delhi about modification of Newton's third law of motion. I simply replied, please give me experimental facilities. An American scientist has called it a prospective work for the Nobel Prize for India. I am still waiting for reply from the Office of Prime Minister of India and CSIR New Delhi. My work is approved Just a few experiments are needed to establish modification of the fundamental law of science, that is Newton's third law of motion.
Well, you are saying a big thing. The Nobel Prize for India for work done on the Indian soil in science. Dr. C.V. Raman won the Nobel Prize for India in 1930 in physics for work done on Indian soil. However, various scientists of Indian origin got Nobel Prizes as US and British citizens for work done in the US and England.
If you look into the history of Indian science, self-confidence and hard work has been the biggest motivation for work. I am 100% sure that one of the basic laws, that is Newton's third law of motion, in science needs modification as it neglects the shape of body, which is the most important factor. It also neglects other factors. It can be easily established experimentally. Some scientists believe that India would have gotten Nobel Prize in fundamental physics if government would have conducted these experiments.
As you are struggling too much for a noble cause, for the world of science and pride of 140 crores or 1.4 billion Indians, but not getting help from the government. So you must be frustrated and might have left research work. Why now, as you are now 61 years old without a job?
Out of 6 decades of life, I have spent 4 decades in such works. The comments from CSIR New Delhi, PMO New Delhi, and the other scientists and institutions of international repute are encouraging. My work is original and my thinking is scientific. The results of the experiments would be epoch making. I have some papers on Newton's first law and second law of motion. I said to those papers on Newton's first law and second law, no stopping at all. Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore, and the Euler Society, University of Washington, USA, helped me by evaluating my work and showing the path how to proceed further. Thanks to both, I have completed these papers in past 1 or 2 years. At this stage, apart from other family responsibilities, also health is another issue, as at this advancing age, I have been under treatment for depression and diabetes for decades. God helps those who helps themselves. The papers and scientific discussion regarding Newton's three laws of motion is available on my website www.newton99.com. Thank you.